beginning each day in God's presence. The morning is a sacred time, a quiet moment before the world awakens to its busyness. It is during these still hours that we have the opportunity to center our hearts on God and seek His guidance for the day ahead. The Gospel of Mark 1:35 tells us, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went to a solitary place where He prayed. This powerful example from Jesus Himself shows the importance of starting the day in communion with God. Jesus, the Son of God, understood the need for private prayer, even amid His ministry. He sought solitude in the wilderness for 40 days, fasting and praying, and later He prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane before His crucifixion. These moments of connection with the Father not only strengthened Him, but also demonstrated the necessity of dedicating time to prayer, especially at the beginning of the day. When we make time for God first thing in the morning, we invite His peace, strength, and wisdom to guide us through the hours ahead. This practice sets the tone for our day, aligning our hearts with His will and giving us the focus we need to face challenges. On the other hand, when we delay or neglect this sacred time, we may find ourselves overwhelmed by the demands of life, filled with worldly distractions instead of the reassurance of His Word. Colossians 3:12 encourages us to set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. This passage reminds us to prioritize the eternal over the temporal, beginning each day with a focus on God's kingdom. When we start our mornings in prayer, we cultivate a heart that bears fruit for His glory, enabling us to walk in His love and purpose throughout the day. As we embrace the gift of each new day, let us follow the example of Jesus, choosing to begin in His presence. By surrendering our plans and thoughts to God, we open the door for His blessings to flow into our lives. His peace fills our hearts, His guidance steadies our steps, and His strength empowers us to face whatever comes our way, trusting God's grace and protection. As we step into the day, uncertainties and challenges may arise, but we can rest in the knowledge that God's grace is sufficient for every need. The morning is an opportunity to surrender our fears and anxieties to Him, trusting that His strength will carry us through. Dear Lord, I give this day completely into Your hands is more than a prayer, it is an act of faith, acknowledging God as the one who holds our future. God's grace is a gift, freely given, not something we earn, but a reflection of His deep love for us. When we invite Him to fill our hearts with peace, we open ourselves to the calm that surpasses understanding. This peace steadies our minds when anxiety creeps in and quiets our souls when life feels overwhelming. It is a divine assurance that no matter what lies ahead, God is with us, guiding and protecting us in every moment. The trials of the day may come in various forms, whether physical danger, temptation, or doubts that try to take root in our hearts. Yet God's word reminds us, "Lead me, Father, so that I don't stray into temptation." This prayer reflects a heart yearning for purity and strength to turn away from anything that does not honor God. He empowers us to keep our hearts aligned with His will, free from distractions that pull us away from His presence. God's protection is not limited to the physical, but extends to our thoughts and emotions as well. "Take the throne of my heart today, Lord," is a plea for Him to reign over every part of our being, from our emotions to our decisions. By surrendering control to Him, we invite His peace to replace fear, His wisdom to replace confusion, and His love to guide our every action. Throughout the day, God's presence surrounds us, a constant reminder that nothing can separate us from His love. By placing our trust in Him, we move forward with a sense of confidence and security, knowing that His grace and protection cover us. Whether we face unexpected challenges or moments of doubt, we can stand firm in the assurance that God is near, watching over us with His unwavering care, walking in peace through God's presence. As the day unfolds, the presence of God becomes our greatest source of peace. In the midst of life's noise and distractions, we can find stillness in His nearness. Let me feel your presence so clearly today that I can't help but walk in peace, is a prayer that invites God to fill our hearts and minds, reminding us that we are never alone. His presence brings calmness even in chaos, and a sense of security that the world cannot offer. Walking in peace begins with a conscious decision to focus on God rather than the circumstances around us. It requires us to set aside worries and doubts and trust in His promises. His word assures us that nothing in this world can separate us from His love. This truth becomes a shield, protecting our hearts from fear and anxiety. When we carry this assurance into every moment, we experience a profound sense of stability, no matter what challenges we face. God's peace also guides our actions and decisions. Teach me, Lord, to choose your way in every situation, is a plea for wisdom and discernment. In seeking His will, we align ourselves with His purpose and avoid the distractions that can lead us astray. By walking in obedience to His word, we cultivate a deeper relationship with Him, one that strengthens our faith and allows His peace to flourish within us. As we go about our day, God's protection surrounds us, just as He surrounded His people with a pillar of fire in the desert. His presence forms a hedge of protection around us, guarding us from harm. Surround us with your love and keep us safe, is a prayer that reflects our trust in His ability to shield us from dangers, both seen and unseen. Whether at home, at work, or on the road, we can rest in the knowledge that He is always watching over us. Walking in peace through God's presence is not about avoiding life's difficulties, but about facing them with confidence in His love and guidance. By staying connected to Him in prayer and meditation, we allow His peace to flow through us, shaping our thoughts, actions, and interactions. In His presence, we find not only peace, but also strength, clarity, and the courage to embrace each day with hope and faith. Drawing strength from God's promises. Life often brings unexpected challenges, moments when we feel uncertain or overwhelmed. It is during these times that God's promises become a source of unshakable strength. His word reminds us, "I will never leave you nor forsake you," a truth that reassures us of His constant presence, no matter what difficulties we face. By holding on to His promises, we gain the courage to navigate the uncertainties of life with faith and confidence. God's faithfulness is the foundation of our trust in Him. Even when circumstances seem beyond our understanding, we can rely on His perfect plan. "I believe with all my heart that you are working all things together for my good," is a declaration of trust in His sovereignty. Though we may not always see or comprehend His ways, we know that His wisdom surpasses ours, and that He is always working for our benefit, even in the background. When fear or doubt arises, God's promises act as a shield, silencing the voices of discouragement and confusion. "Silence every voice of doubt, Lord," is a prayer that asks Him to protect our hearts from the lies of the enemy. Instead of being swayed by uncertainty, we focus on the truth of His word, which reminds us that He is a God of love and grace. His promises give us the clarity to distinguish His voice from the noise of the world, and the confidence to stand firm in our faith. Drawing strength from God's promises also means surrendering our own desires and plans to Him. "Keep me from my own thoughts or actions that don't glorify you," is a plea for humility and alignment with His will. By letting go of anything that hinders our growth or leads us away from His purpose, we make room for His guidance and blessings. This act of surrender is not a loss, but a gain, as it allows His perfect plan to unfold in our lives. Through His promises, God equips us with the strength to face each day with hope and resilience. He reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by His love and purpose for us. By leaning on His word and trusting in His faithfulness, we find the strength to move forward, embracing each moment with the assurance that He is in control and His plans for us are good. Living a life guided by faith and trust. As we embrace the promises of God, our faith deepens, and our lives become a reflection of His love and guidance. Living by faith means choosing to trust in His word over our emotions, allowing His truth to shape our decisions and actions. "Help me to live by your word and not by my feelings," is a prayer that acknowledges the need for divine wisdom in a world that often pulls us in many directions. Faith anchors us, keeping us focused on God's purpose rather than the uncertainties of life. God calls us to surrender every part of our lives to Him, trusting that His plans are better than anything we could imagine. "I trust you with our future, our needs, and our hearts," is a declaration of reliance on His provision and care. When we place our desires and ambitions in His hands, we allow Him to guide us toward paths of peace and fulfillment. This act of surrender is a demonstration of our faith, a step that draws us closer to Him and aligns our lives with His will. Faith also empowers us to see each day as an opportunity to glorify God. "Let the light of your presence set my heart on fire for you," is a prayer that asks Him to fill our hearts with love and passion for His kingdom. By focusing on His presence, we are inspired to live with purpose, serving Him not only in significant moments, but in the everyday interactions and decisions that make up our lives. Living by faith also means trusting in God's timing and provision. Open doors of opportunity that will lead to breakthroughs is a reminder that God is the ultimate provider, opening doors that no one else can. Even when we face delays or obstacles, we trust that He is working behind the scenes, preparing the way for His perfect plan to unfold. This trust allows us to move forward with confidence, knowing that His blessings will come at the right time. As we walk in faith, God's presence becomes our guiding light, His promises our source of strength, and His love our motivation. Each day becomes an opportunity to grow closer to Him, to live in alignment with His will, and to reflect His goodness to the world around us. By keeping our hearts fixed on Him, we can navigate life's challenges with peace and purpose, knowing that we are held securely in His hands. A life rooted in God's presence. To begin each day in God's presence is to invite His peace, guidance, and strength into every moment. By trusting in His promises and surrendering our plans to Him, we allow His love to transform our hearts and direct our paths. His faithfulness assures us that we are never alone, and His guidance empowers us to live with confidence and purpose. Let us carry this truth with us, committing each morning to Him and walking each day in His grace. By placing our trust in the One who holds our future, we find the courage to face life's challenges and the joy of living a life rooted in His presence. May His peace, love, and guidance be with us always, as we walk by faith and not by sight, secure in the knowledge that we are loved and cared for by our Heavenly Father.